Okay. Hi everyone, this is Lori with 3 Keys Astrology, and this is your forecast for April 2025, Gemini. Gemini, this month for you it can start out a little bit difficult, but you've got some strength and planetary energy coming your way for April 2025. And I'm making individual signs for all of April because I've started, I'm offering a brand new reading for all of you that is a personalized, customized, written reading sent to your email address. Go to www.3keysastrology.com to see all the services and consultations that I offer. This one, there's a string of bombs because it's a brand new offering. And as I said, you won't have to meet me on Zoom. We don't have to set our schedules together like you do for the other readings, because you'll order these each month. This is not for the whole year. It's only $100 a month, but you'll order them, and personalized and customized to your birth chart will be your own personal readings each and every month. And I'm doing that for now. It's rather time consuming, but I enjoy writing. So you'll get this sent right to your inbox each month, and I hope you take advantage of it. So Gemini, one of the things that I want you to know, we've had some major planetary change in the energy, and when outer planets change, entire generations change. That's why 2025 is such a pivotal year. 2026 is quite beautiful, but we're still in the trenches of going through major changes. And Gemini, you're used to change and you like change, you embrace it very well. And it so happens that two major planets, Pluto, that moved into Aquarius, and then Neptune, that's moving into Aries, for great periods of our future, complement you. So if you have your sun, your moon, or your rising sign in Gemini, this video is for you. If you have a lot of planets in Gemini, this video is for you because you have a Geminian personality. And what does that mean? Well, it's ruled by Mercury. So you're born curious little beings, and throughout your life, your purpose on this earth has something to do with communications. That's your sole purpose. Geminis are great communicators, actually, and make good friends, and they like to have lots of friends. And they're chatty little beings, and then you can say, wait, I'm a Gemini, but I'm not. Well, maybe your sun is squaring Pluto, or maybe you're a 12th house Gemini, which makes you quiet, hence the reason you need a personal astrologer. But if your sun, moon, or rising sign is there, or if you have a lot of planets in Gemini, you've got a strong Gemini soul. One of the complexes of being Geminian is that you're a twin. So you're often pulled in two different directions, or you'll have two jobs your whole life, two little part-time jobs, or there's often Geminis have twins. You are a twin. Geminis are childlike, and they're youthful, and they're very busy. They're physically, their bodies are little busy bodies. They like to be doing something. They like to be on the move. You're quite energetic. In the month of April, I'm doing for all signs some information about a psychologist who's not with us anymore, and an astrologer was he. But he was a teaching professor of psychology and an astrologer, and his name was Dr. Mark Edmund Jones. He's got a son that's quite the astrologer too in England, but he developed a book about Sabian symbols. I explain in depth what they are in the Aries monthly, but in a nutshell, Sabian symbols are the archetypes of the universe. So, and we all have a set of archetypes. Carl Jung did fantastic work in psychology on the archetypes and the role that you play in this lifetime. Well, Gemini is the eternal child, or the everlasting friend, and you're Mercury ruled. But when you get involved with too many things, you're easily distracted, you never finish anything. You can be annoying to signs that are quieter, that aren't so active and so busybody. But you've got a lot of energy to spend, and it's childlike, and you usually look youthful for all of your life. In this month of April, your planetary ruler has been going retrograde, which is quite frustrating for you. But this can also apply to the children in your life. There's something, you could have a child rebelling, and you can also have a lot of difficulty with your electronic devices or internet interruptions or losing files because you're too distracted. Mercury retrograde is a time for you when you can have problems with your vehicles. So minor repairs usually for Gemini, not some great catastrophic, the car is done for. But make sure that you are, have your oil checked and enough air in the tires. Your vehicle of transportation needs some repairing. Let me put it that way. And finessing. And you know me, if you've been with me for a long time, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. But all the words apply whenever any planet is in retrograde. And planets, the sun never goes retrograde and the moon never goes retrograde. But the other planets can. If you're born with a lot of planets in retrograde, that means in a previous lifetime you did not accomplish the essence of the planetary energy. And that this lifetime gives you another opportunity to redo that. So repair, reconsider, repair, reconsider, realize, readjust, recalibrate. So children, mechanical things, all of your electronics, all of your communications, you can be having a lot of miscommunicating with other people. Why is it, Gemini? Are you too much of a hurry? Do you need to settle down, or are you not spending enough time on one thing? That's right, you're not. Mercury stations direct, though, on the 16th or 17th and goes into Aries, which will be very nice for you because this kind of energy, then communications, things will get smoothed over. You can fix things. You'll get a lot of insight and inspiration. This is a great time of the month for you to take little travels and plan long distance travels. It's a very innovative period for you that I would take advantage of because you've had a blessing with Jupiter, blessing and some learning. I would say some pretty big learning experiences this past year. And Jupiter is still with you. And Jupiter is between the degrees in the month of April of 15 to 20. And so I picked out two Sabian symbols for you. Now, as I was saying, Jung did archetypal work. Dr. Mark Edmund Jones would have been very familiar with Jung as he was a teaching professor for psychology. And Freud and Jung and Adler and all these great names are what made the foundational science of psychology something teachable and something usable. And these archetypal symbols would be kind of like what a fingerprint or an imprint or an embossed mark on your life. If you comment below this video, and you tell me what degree your sun, your moon, or your rising sign in Gemini is, I will give you a little gift of telling you what your Sabian symbol imprint is, according to that degree. But for now, I'm using Jupiter because Jupiter's in your sign. And the two that I chose have everything to do with your twinning off personality. And so it doesn't mean that... you know this if you're a Gemini. You're kind of like two people in one. And the negative Gemini, or the negative mercurial part of you that's bitchy, bossy, tired, gossipy, in everybody else's business, the negative Gemini is the evil twin. The good Gemini is the good friend, the one who can listen, someone who's excellent at business, because Geminis are. And Geminis like paperwork and they like to do things with their hands. So you'll find them. They're great elementary school teachers because they love children. They are great in all the professions that have anything to do with children in general. But Geminis are like to be involved in everyday business things. Like what's necessary for you to get through the day, the filing, the paperwork, the ordering, the delivering, the service industry, anything business, the incoming, the outflowing, accounting, those sort of things. Gemini really gets into that. And because Mercury is retrograde right now, I would say to you in this month of April, Gemini, this is a perfect time of the year for you to go through files, pictures, paperwork. What needs filed? What can be thrown out? What needs sorted? Can you digitize photos? Can you digitize paperwork? With Mercury retrograde, redo that, repair that, reconsider that, revise that, fix that. For those of you that are Gemini listening to this video and your students, you're getting to the time of the year where you're going to be having your final exams in your last term. So this is really good for research, study, those of you that are doing papers, choosing a thesis. And that's what Jupiter did when it landed in Gemini last year. You see, above all else, Jupiter's first about truth and justice, but it's also about higher learning. Jupiterian people are very philosophical and very knowledgeable, very interested in seeking knowledge, and so does Gemini. Not quite to the degree that Sagittarius is, because you're the early learning, the elementary learning, middle school learning, high school learning, whereas Jupiter, in its finest element and most powerful strength, is baccalaureate degree and above education. And Mercury and the Sun and Jupiter in the harmonies that they are for you right now, Gemini, is telling you, is there something that you need to relearn? Is there something you need to revise? Is there paperwork that needs sorted? Is there something that needs rescheduled? I bet you there is, because Mercury's retrograde. But as when Mercury moves into Aries, the 16th or 17th of the month, depending on where you live, things are really going to smooth out and be a little easier. By then, you'll have your vehicle fixed. By then, you can take those trips you've planned. And you really should. You only have a couple more months, and you're a little spring baby, like April born, like the Aries, the Taurus, and the Gemini. We are the spring babies. And this is our time of the year. We love the fresh new beginnings and the brand new life that's sprouting. And we actually, you, Gemini, really should take advantage of this Sun-Jupiter connection. So, and what I would say is, most of all, this month, this final, because you get it for 2 more months, is a time for discerning. So that word means splitting, D-I-S, or something needs divided. And Gemini is good at this. Geminis are really good rational thinkers. They're quite realistic. And this Mercury is able to, when you're born Gemini, see somebody's point of view that it is different than your point of view and kind of amalgamate those different ideas. You really are so helpful at collaborating and pulling this idea or that concept and this concept into something that everyone can use. So this month is really good for that. You'll be getting a lot of inspiration. But I do want you to know that there's quite a lot of activity going on for you in the month of April in your 11th house. Well, that's the house of hopes and dreams. That's a house of higher education. People with a lot of planets there often pursue master's and above degrees. If that applies to you, then get out those course books or figure out who you're... Sorry, I always sit on my foot and it always goes numb. And I got to stop doing that because I need a better chair. Anyway, so look into that. Is it a mentor that you can understudy with? Is it some sort of an internship? Is it a promotion on the job where you're going to be shadowing someone that already knows what you're aspiring to be? Whatever the case, learning and new education matters. But the tone of the month between the retrograde energy, that is all those things that need repaired, restructured, reorganized, get really organized. Pin down your focus this month, Gemini. I know sometimes that's difficult for you, And when I was talking about your negative characteristics, it's when you're tired or when you're overextended. Then we see the negative sides of Mercury, where you turn into a gossip, or you're a busybody, or you're into everyone else's business and not attending to your own issues first. But with Jupiter next to the Sun at these Sabian symbol degrees, the word for you this month is discernment. And that is deciding. It's making that emphatic decision about where you should be spending your time, your efforts, and your energy. Now, Mercury, the day of the week that belongs to Mercury is Wednesday. And I can't remember, I think that's a Tuesday. For everybody, April 3rd is sort of a hard day for us this year. But you've got really, really good days. On the 11th, the 12th, the 7th, the 2nd I like for you. The 3rd is the difficult day. But you've got some demanding things that will call to your attention, or it'll be someone or some situation on the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th. I want you to know that if you are Gemini rising, we've got a full moon in Libra at 23 degrees that's coming either the 12th or 13th, depending on where you live. And this is indeed a time of new conception. So you can be having new family members. And if you're of age to conceive, you can have some new little babies then, Gemini. And Jupiter on your rising sign too often explains pregnancy, new pregnancy. So new family members for Geminis, which is a beautiful blessing. But back to those Wednesdays, those are the days, pencil out those 5 Wednesdays of April and go on some kind of little trip, or go learn something new, or go treat a child, or spend the day with a child, helping them learn something new, helping them discover because of discernment. And as I said, we're going to talk about Mark Jones's Sabian symbols, and I picked 2 out. And this a little bit talks about how Gemini can twin off when you're distracted, and that's when you make your mistakes, and that's when you make your life a mess. Unfortunately, Gemini's curiosity gets him in trouble with 2 or more boyfriends or 2 or more girlfriends, and if you're doing that, somebody's feelings are going to get hurt, Gemini. So maybe the discernment you're supposed to be getting right now is in having priorities and showing people value. And don't spread yourself then. You're not supposed to be with more than one person at one time. So I'm wagging my Mama Carvelli finger at you. Be good, Gemini, be good. Because the other thing is a negative Gemini can take things that don't belong to him or her. And of all the plagiarists that there are in the world, mostly it's Gemini. So do adopt what's your own idea. Don't take other people's ideas. Don't cheat on your test in college. You're going to get caught. You're just not supposed to behave like that. Don't cheat by taking other people's boyfriends and girlfriends. It might be fun for you, but it's the devil side of you, because Mercury can fly to heaven or hell in a minute, which means you can be a sweet little angel or a little bad, dirty devil, Gemini. You know it, and I know it, and so do all the other astrologers. But this blessing year with Jupiter on your sun is telling you that this is really a good year for discernment and for really, getting serious about a straight and narrow focus and trying to avoid distractions and clear them out of the way. Pluto in Aquarius is blessing you and helping you purge and get rid of and digitize those things that can be digitized, so you're not buried in piles of paperwork and rooms aren't cluttered and crowded in your house. Because Gemini gets distracted so easily, that's one of the ways that they can become hoarders. They just have too much stuff. It's usually reading materials, communication devices, stuff like that, books, because you love books like I love books, and I have a 0 degree Gemini. So I get you, I'm part of you, and that's how that goes. But the Sabian symbol I'm choosing, I'm going to read 2 different ones for you. But as I said, if you put your birth, the degree of your birth, sun, birth moon, or rising sign Gemini in the comment below, I'll give you a little surprise and tell you your Sabian symbol. You could call it an enneagram or a monogram or something for your life that your soul needs to know. I'm choosing the 15 degree of Gemini from Dr. Mark Edmund Jones' work on Sabian symbols, and he says it's two Dutch children talking. The clarification of that is two. Well, Gemini's a child. They're childlike and they love to have friends and they're chatty. I once worked in a bookstore with this sweet girl, and we always got in trouble because we couldn't stop talking to each other. And she is a Gemini, and I have my Mercury in Gemini, and we could talk, I'm not kidding you, we could talk from dawn until the next dawn and still have more to talk about. We really liked each other. We became instant friends, and we were working in a bookstore, which Geminis love books, but we both love children. She had more than me, but I have a lot, and we love kids, and so yeah, we had this. We'd always get in trouble because we had so much fun talking. Hey Tracy, if you're watching this video, I did a lot of astrology for her and all of her children, so she's maybe watching. Anyway, so two Dutch children talking. Why Dutch? Well, first of all, the symbol is the image of the children together that have similar backgrounds, values, interests, so they're chatty, and their friendship builds a self-confidence within, but shared by each other. And in the positive, this is, it's wonderful because it gives you really good social skills and good human relating skills. Really sweet. But the negative side is that this can be separatist or it can be exclusionary. And when you say the old cliche, they're talking Dutch, well, that means that not everyone can understand what's being said. And so if you find yourself, maybe perhaps it's at a work situation because, let me think now, the 5th, the 6th, the 4th, this month you could have a little bit of strife in the workplace because of some kind of exclusionary gossiping and talking. You see, we're going to have quite the Mars-Pluto opposition, and this is annihilation, this is atomic bombing, this is war on war, mano a mano, two evil entities in combat and some kind of conflict. And this is somewhere, depending on when you're born. If you get a personalized reading, I can absolutely tell you, but somewhere in your 6th house, between your 5th and 6th house in the astrology chart, well, that could be on the job, or that could be an issue with a child, an adult child if you're adult listening to this, or rebellious children if your kids are underaged. And back to these two talking Dutch, so there's a miscommunication, a misunderstanding, or an exclusion. You're keeping secret something from the rest of the group. And that kind of, people feel that, believe it or not. They might not hear what you're saying, but energy's contagious. And if you're factioning off your workplace because you're gossiping about the boss or somebody's doing this, you're going to get yourself in trouble, Gemini. That's the first thing that we know about 15 degrees Gemini. So on the good part of it, you're an expert at human relations, and you have excellent social skills. Make sure you're doing the right thing and using your high verbal skills and communication acumen for the good and not to harm. The next symbol that I went to was, we're still talking about Jupiter being in Gemini because it's on your sun. And like I said, Jupiter in the month of April is going to fly between the 15 degree mark to the 23 degree mark. So the next symbol between those two before the month ends at 20, I chose 18 degree Gemini. Coincidentally, it's another couple of people, talking. This time it's two Chinese men. And the key word here, the first time, we're talking about discernment for the whole entire month, because communication's on fleek with you, with it being retrograde and then it's stationing direct, but being in Aries, which complements Gemini. Pluto's complementing you. Neptune's in Aries too, though, so we've got to wonder about fact and fiction. And in your life, in the next decade at least, you're going to have to do some real discernment about fact and fiction. And if you already chose a communications job like journalism, they're undergoing great changes right now because people are sick and tired of people spinning the wool and giving us opinions rather than facts. And this is personal to you. This is in your own life as well. So the Sabian symbol for 18 degrees of Gemini are two Chinese men talking. And this is about the uniqueness of this conversation that separates them from the rest of the fellows because of their intelligence, their education, or their interests. Hence the reason they're using Chinese, which often have higher mental acumen than some other cultures and other, I'll just leave it at culture because it's genetically, Russians get that advantage too because there's a lot of Asian genetics in that population. But what it infers is a highly developed and unusual expertise. And the accent is on a specialization. So again, with that emphasis of the sun in Gemini and getting higher education, taking on some new kind of learning, having a mentor, come learn astrology if you want with me. I am an astrology teacher, and I have plenty of students that'll tell you that I'm a good astrology teacher. So this conversation, the first one, two children speaking Dutch, in the negative, it's something exclusionary that not everyone can understand, or there's a miscommunication, or there's something maleficent about why others can't be involved. However, this one at 18 degrees Gemini says, it's because they won't understand it because I'm specialized in my science field, or I'm specialized in my technology field, or it's an expertise that's not commonly known to the masses. So discernment is what Gemini's lesson for this month in April is. And it's the caution here is to guard yourself against being something you're not. Don't try to fit yourself in grooves that you don't fit in. And that's for the two Chinese men talking Sabian symbol. And then in the first one where the children are talking, where speaking Dutch, you're supposed to guard yourself against falling into some kind of incomplete communication, not getting the idea across clearly enough, just the way I was fumbling around now trying to say that. And you should be careful not to reveal too much. Don't tell other people's secrets. Try not to gossip, Gemini. It ends up hurting only you, and you're the one that gets excluded, and you're the one that's left out because people won't trust you if you do that. So the lesson here is to guard yourself about communicating information that's not yours to share, or not explaining something fully and clearly, and being trustworthy and worthwhile so that people aren't afraid to trust you in confidence. I think overall that's the message for you. I will caution you because there's a lot of light in your chart, especially Gemini rising, in the area of your hopes, your dreams, and your groups and friendships. And we've got the goddess of chaos, Eris, there. We have Chiron, the wounded healer, there. And the moon is going to be in Aries on the 27th and 28th of this month. So be very careful with group affiliation and what's being said at that time. And do not betray the confidences or engage in any kind of two-faced talking. Don't twin off like that. Be authentic. Be who you are. Get congruent. Have those twins join each other in the middle and decide not to do anything to the extreme of goodness or badness when you get off balance and out of kilter. The changes that are coming for you with Pluto are going to be good. They may be hard at first, but we can talk about those in your personalized reading. But for now, I would expect some kind of disruption in a group that you're affiliated with. And that is going to become an area that needs to be helped and healed. And so you take care, Gemini. Make sure you're communicating nice and clearly. Be direct. Try your best not to be scattered. I can tell you one of the best things ever for Gemini is the mineral magnesium. So if you don't have any in your cupboard, order some. I'm not paid to promote this company, but it's changed my health dramatically. Life extension vitamins are wonderful. And Geminis need calm periods. You need to pencil in time for quiet, for silence, for calm, because you scatter yourself too thin and you're like the air, like sand blowing in the air. Particles of you are everywhere. And I guess I would like you to think about this imagery. So have you ever heard they have too many, now I'm going to mess up the cliche, too many pokers in the fire, too many something like that? Well, to simplify it, pretend you have a stove with a bunch of pots on the stove. Get rid of 3 of them and have 1. You can't be something to your kids and something to your employer, something to your lover and something to your, your painting class group and a best friend all in the same day. It's not possible, because instead of one person getting the best of all of you, everybody's just getting a little sprinkle of you, and that doesn't make good relationships. And that's one place Gemini suffers, because you scatter yourself and spread yourself too thin, such as in if you have the propensity for promiscuity, there it goes again. Everybody's getting a little piece of you and nobody's getting all of you. And so guess what happens to you? You get nothing that's sound and secure and safe and sacred. One person at a time. Give your attention to people, not stuff. And don't be divided. Don't let your mind split. Don't let your heart and your mind be split or torn like people that are playing around with too many things all at one time. Okay? All right. You be good, Gemini. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening, subscribing, and sharing my videos. Bye for now.